Ariel Rider Grizzly. Look at that beast. Talk about very well packaged. Toolbox. I'm guessing that's the headlight. But yeah, this is pretty nicely packaged, that is for sure. Look at the size of that motor on a front wheel. And carefully, so I'll connect the arrows together. There's really only one way these are going to go. Push them together. Wow. All right, so if you think this bike is small and lightweight when you look at the online pictures, you will be sorely mistaken. This thing is huge. This thing sits right at my hips. Look how long this thing is. This thing is big. It's way bigger than I expected. So this is the infamous Ariel Rider Grizzly. You've probably seen it on Instagram and Facebook and other social media, all over YouTube. They're a relatively new company, just a couple years old, but they are making a serious splash in the industry by offering one of the biggest, baddest, most powerful moped style e-bikes that you could possibly buy. And they have a couple other models out there, but this is the one that I think a lot of my viewers are going to be interested in because, you know, I'm into off-roading and stuff, and this is definitely an off-road e-bike. And it's almost hard to say that this is an e-bike. It's more a motorcycle than an e-bike, but it does have pedals and gears and a shifter. So it still is classified as a class 2 e-bike. Matter of fact, there's a sticker right there. 20 miles per hour max when you get it in the mail. But you can unlock those dual batteries and those dual motors and get this thing up to like 35 miles per hour, which is insane, guys. That's insane for an e-bike. Let's go through the specs, you know, front to back. So the frame is pretty beefy. I mean, look at the size of these tubes. This is not your normal mountain bike. Matter of fact, it's not a mountain bike at all. This is definitely a moped style bike with their unique frame design. Very, very beefy. The welds are over engineered. Obviously this thing weighs like 70 something pounds and it needs to be strong. It has dual 750 watt hub drive motors that have steel gears inside, not the polymer or plastic gears. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, a lot of these e-bikes come with hub motors that have like a plastic, essentially a really strong polymer plastic gear setup inside those hubs, which work great, especially if you're just a commuter. But when you start beating on these things off-road, just climbing hills and going on rocky terrain like this, you want durability, and steel gears give you that. And you can hear it when you ride this thing. Those steel gears, they start to hum because they're meshing with each other. But don't be discouraged. That's just how gears sound, especially when they're made out of steel. The folks at Ariel Rider wanted me to tell you guys that if you purchase an Ariel Rider Grizzly in the summer of 2021, you guys are getting a huge upgrade automatically in the price. There's no increase in price. It's still going to be basically $3,000, but instead of getting the older model, which has the 750 watt motors front and rear and the 18 and 14 amp hour batteries, you guys are automatically getting an upgrade of 1000 watt hub motors front and rear, and a 20 amp hour battery and a 15 amp hour battery automatically. Oh, and it doesn't end there. You also get dual battery chargers. So this one here came with one battery charger. You guys are getting two. So your charge times are going to be half the time because now you can do them at the same time. That's pretty awesome. Thank you, Ariel Rider. And I am jealous of all you guys that are going to be ordering this thing in the summer of 2021. Because that's cool. Dual 1000 motors. I mean, this thing's already a beast at 750. With dual 1000 watt motors and the double battery packs, this is going to be one of the biggest, baddest, most powerful e-bikes out there for only 3,000 bucks. Man, you guys are lucky. The range is incredible. This thing goes roughly 70 to 75 miles, depending on how you ride it and the terrain and the weight of the rider and things like that. But in general, 70 to 75 mile range because you have the dual batteries. So gone are the days of range anxiety for the most part. So here's a look at the charger. As you can see right here, that is a 5 amp charger. The rear battery plug-in is under the battery, not on the side or in the back. So just have to line it up just right to get it to fit in there. On the down tube, you can see the charger port is easily accessed on the right hand side. When you go 35 miles per hour, that's pretty damn fast. You better be wearing a motorcycle helmet or something that can protect you in case you fall. But going fast is important, but stopping is equally important. And this comes with hydraulic disc brakes. These are Tektro hydraulic disc brakes, front and rear. These are the Uriga E-Comp. Here's where the hydraulic brakes really come in handy. This is a 70-pound bike and I'm going downhill. You really want to have good brakes. With hydraulics, you can just use 2 fingers to hold the brakes. But the mechanical brakes, you'd have to have 3 or 4 fingers on here to get these things to work. The wheels and tires, they're 20-inch wheels with 4-inch wide tires. So I would just assume that with the 20 plus 4, that's roughly a 24-inch diameter setup, which is nice. With the smaller wheel set, you get more leverage from those steel geared motors. So climbing and getting over obstacles are actually really good with this, because the smaller the wheel, the more torque those motors have. And with the big balloon 4-inch tires, those in itself act like suspension along with the suspension. Let's talk about the suspension. Check out these forks. These forks are beefy, man. They look like downhill forks, but they're actually beefier than that. They have more in common with motorcycles because they're inverted. As you can see, the stanchions are inverted. Normally on mountain bikes, that will be on the top, and then this would be on the bottom. But in dirt bikes, they kind of flip them. And they did the same thing on this, just like on dirt bikes, so that's kind of nice. They have these like rubber sleeves to protect the bars from hitting your frame. Beautiful. Look at that red anodized metal. It's like a red anodized aluminum. If you look right here, there's little screw holes. You can actually mount the headlights down here or up here. When I got it from the factory, the lights were mounted down here kind of low, which works fine. But I like the way it looks up top. It looks a little bit more like a dirt bike. The lights recessed into the forks. Very nice. Love that. And then the rear suspension, look at that. That is just gorgeous. Red anodized parts. It says Ariel Rider on there. So it ships with a single seat. It's got a little bump there to keep your butt from sliding off. Nothing in the back. You can probably put some cargo here if you wanted to. But you can also order a long saddle for 2 people because they have built-in pegs. Really heavy-duty pegs too. And here's just another chance to admire the heavy-duty design of that swing arm too, man. Look at that. That thing looks like a motorcycle back here. I mean, that's a lot of steel. Beautiful. They flip up when you're not using them. There's a look at the kickstand. You need this kickstand because it's a big bike. Nice wide foot so it doesn't sink into the dirt or grass. So let's look at the drivetrain. The cranks are branded Ounce with Wellgo platform pedals. It's got this integrated like bash guard, chain guard kind of setup there. You could take that off if you want to, but I don't know why you'd want to. Probably comes in handy for commuters to keep your pants from getting all greasy, and also just rocks in general hitting your chain. And then here's a look at the swing arm in the back. Again, nice and beefy. Shimano ALTUS derailleur in the back. And there's your gear set. You're not really using these, to be quite honest. There's guys on YouTube that literally take all this off and run this with just a single speed, because to be quite honest, it's 70 pounds with 2 big motors and 2 big batteries. Most people aren't pedaling this bike. You could pedal this thing if you wanted to, but most people aren't going to do that. It's basically being ridden like a motorcycle. You do have this steel derailleur guard, which is appreciated. I've already hit some rocks with this, so definitely appreciated. You can see that rocks have been hitting down here. It comes with fenders. These are plastic fenders, and that's probably a good thing because plastic doesn't dent. So if a rock hits this, it'll just bounce and fall right off. Also too, the paint doesn't scratch off either, so it's probably a good idea to have these plastic fenders. But you don't have to. You could take them off if you wanted to. And then in the back, again, the fender goes from way down here all the way to the back to keep some of that mud and water off of you and the batteries. It is water resistant. I don't know the IP rating, but it's an e-bike, so I don't recommend ever, you know, riding these things in the rain. But you can splash them for sure without any issues. Just a traditional mountain bike threadless kind of setup here. You can change this out to other brands if you wanted to. And then it has these chopper style handlebars, which again, this is a moped style bike, so it's kind of appropriate that you're sitting in the upright position. You could swap these out for more BMX style or motocross style handlebars if you wanted to. I kind of like this setup though because it has 2 crossbars. So it ships to you with the controller on the top bar, which is nice, but it's kind of tall. So I moved it down to the second bar, which really makes it nice and clean. I like that setup. Over here, there's your switch for rear drive, front drive, and in the middle you get both wheels driving. So all-wheel drive or 2-wheel drive, that's awesome. You got a bell right there to tell people you're on the left or on the right when you're coming up from behind. The grips are stamped Ariel rider, hand stitched. If it's not leather, it looks just like leather. You got a half throttle grip here, and you can use the throttle just like on a dirt bike, or you can pedal at any time. It does have pedal assist. Here's your Shimano 7-speed SIS index shifter here. The wires are managed pretty well. I put extra straps on here just to clean it up even more, but they do run through the frame nice and clean. To power on the bike, you'll hit the power button here just for a few seconds, and you'll see Ariel Rider pop up on the screen. And just to let you guys know, this is a more advanced screen than what came in the original models that came out just 6 months to a year ago. It has a little bit more detailed information. So right in the middle, miles per hour, you can change that to kilometers in the settings. Below that is your pedal assist, which is 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different settings. And then there's also a wattage meter right underneath that, so you can actually monitor how much wattage is being drawn from the batteries. And then at the top you have your percentage, which I have set to actually show the percentage. You can put that in bars, I believe. In the settings you can swap that out and adjust it the way you like it. I like seeing actual percentage numbers. And over here is your time, which is just your time of day, which is kind of nice. Over here is your run time of how many minutes, even hours you are running this bike total. And then over here you got 3 different options. So if you hit the power button, you'll go through, I don't know if you guys can see that, you can go through trip, odometer, and range. I'll put it back on trip. And again, this bike does ship from the factory, limited to 20 miles per hour, but you can go into the settings by using this controller here to unlock it to go 33 miles an hour or even faster, depending on your weight and things like that, and your terrain. I got mine up to 35 miles per hour just on throttle alone. So, but you got to do that on your own, at your own risk. That's for off-road only. To turn the headlights on, you'll hold the plus button here just for a few seconds. Hold it, boom, and you'll see an icon for a headlight pop up on the screen, and you'll also see the lights come on here. You probably can't see it right now because it's so bright out, but that's how you turn the lights on. And then to turn them off, just hold it and it turns off. So as you can see, the digital display lights up nicely in the dark. So check this out. I just discovered this while riding the bike at night. I'm just going to turn the bike on like normal, and there's a sensor somewhere on the bike that automatically turns your headlights on. So that's pretty cool. Alright, so the big question is, how much does this cost? These are retailing for roughly 3,000 bucks. Of course, you can get it for a little bit less depending on where you shop around at. But in the US, this is about 2,999 bucks. All right, guys, so there you have it. That is my review of the Ariel Rider Grizzly, dual motor, dual battery, dual suspension, 75-mile range moped style e-bike. I think this is a fantastic option for overlanders and campers in general, because this thing is an off-road beast. I mean, you go camping or off-roading or overlanding, and then you get to where you're going and set up a base camp, and then you bust this thing out and you can go explore 30, 40, 50 miles all around your base camp on a very off-road capable e-bike. Nice and silent, nobody can hear you, and you got that nice long range, no real range anxiety with the two batteries. That's awesome for campers and overlanders, as well as just simple RVers in general too. A lot of RVers will go out to these campsites, and then they park their RV and plug everything up, but then they want to go right around town and explore the shops and restaurants around town, but you don't want to tow a tow vehicle. Well, this thing is actually big enough to carry two people with those pegs on the back and then the double banana seat. You can actually carry two adults on this thing, no problem. So it actually solves the problem of having to bring a tow vehicle. You don't need one. You could use this. And then, of course, commuters. This is actually a decent commuter bike as well, because you got that 75-mile range. You can replace your car and save a lot of gas and save a lot of parking. Drive this thing into work. If you live relatively close to work, say 30, 40 miles from home, ride this into work and ride it back. No problem with this thing. And then, of course, this is a fantastic option for those adrenaline junkies that just want something different. You want something big and beefy and something that grabs attention when you go to the beach or go out into the country and just ride around. This thing is cool, right? It's just simply cool. And people are going to stop you and ask you about your bike. And a lot of guys like to have stuff like that, you know. It's cool. Nothing wrong with that. All right, guys, there you have it. That's it. That is my full review of the Ariel Rider Grizzly. If you want to buy one of these, hit that link below the video and it'll take you to my affiliate link. And if I can get you guys a discount code to save you a few bucks, I'll put a discount code down there as well. No guarantees there, but I will try to get you some discounts if I can. And of course, if you guys enjoyed this video, it was very helpful and had good information for you, or if you just were entertained, please hit that like button to support my channel. I appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. Ring the bell to be notified when I upload new videos, and leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think about the Ariel Rider Grizzly dual motor, dual battery, dual suspension, moped style e-bike. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.